Hello. Have you ever ended up buying vegetable plants from a garden or a store that you ended up bringing home and you either didn't plant or they ended up dying? I know I have. And this is why I ended up making a garden for myself. With the high demand of growing your own vegetables as prices increase, many of you might have tried growing your own vegetables at home and maybe it failed, as I know I have, and have wanted to know, how really do you plant plants? So I have my own in-home child care here, and I've had it for about 10 years. And I also have severe anxiety, which my doctor actually prescribed for me to take on gardening or pulling weeds. So that's what I did. Actually, last year we ended up making a garden. It was a raised bed garden, and I love it. It doesn't have a ton of room, but it is something that I can just go out and know that I created, whether it fails or it does not. So today let's talk about how to plant your own vegetable garden and supply food for yourself and your family all on your own. So, first of all, you need to find a good place for your garden at your house. Mine, I can kind of show you. I've got a really big backyard, but I do have 5 dogs, as well as, don't know if you can see them, 7 chickens. So I had to find a spot that would actually work for everything and not have the garden destroyed. There are 3 different types of gardens that I have looked into, and you could do just a garden in your yard. Just find a area that you just want to fill with dirt, make that your garden. Or you can do plants, like patio plants, where you can grow any kind of vegetable in a plant. Or you can choose to do a raised bed garden, which a raised bed garden you end up having to make by yourself. It takes time, it takes money, and it takes a little bit of work. But me myself, I have found out that I really like the raised garden better than the other ones, and it has actually supplied my family. Not saying that I've done the best, but it has sustained us with the foods that I have been able to grow. And this year we ended up having to add chicken wire because the chickens like our garden bed and they would get in and eat everything that we had. So we had to block them off, and it already seems like it's starting to do better. So the first thing is, after you choose which garden that you want to do, then you need to build it or buy your plants, or buy your pots, sorry. And then you need to get topsoil. Like, first of all, what we did, we got the sand, just regular sand, and then we got just filler dirt, and then we ended up doing topsoil. And then we let the chickens come in and fertilize, and then we put down a layer of cow manure, and then another layer of garden soil, which has nutrients in it that helps your vegetables grow. You let that set for a couple days, especially with the cow manure. You want to keep turning it with your garden rake and make sure that it's moist, just to make sure everything gets mixed together before you even want to plant anything. So after you get your garden, then you want to go buy the plants. My suggestion is, I'm really close to a garden center, so I would say go pick the vegetables that you want. I talked to all my families and all my child care kids and my family of what we're going to buy and what we want to grow or what we would like to see different. So go and pick out what you want. My suggestion, and this is all up on you, is if you don't mind the GMO food, or if you want non or GMO. GMO, first of all, is a genetically modified organism. So it is made in a lab. The seed is made in a lab. So the plants that you actually end up buying are made in a lab. Non-GMO is what I choose because it's more natural. GMO products actually can affect your body in multiple different ways, such as accelerated aging, organ damage, insulin regulations, infertility, immune problems, and even just neutral content. You don't know what you're getting is wholesome. Make sure that your plants look lively and ready to plant. You don't want to pick out a plant that looks like it's already not going to survive a replanting. So let's begin planting. How to plant plants in your garden. I'm going to move this down. Maybe just a little bit more. So the materials that you will need is gloves. Garden gloves, always the best. Then you have a hand shovel. This is called a trowel, which is just a hand shovel. And then you need, obviously, your plants. This time I chose beans. Salad bowl. And more beans, because we like beans around here. So then, trying to make sure that you can see me. And first of all, so you want to put on your gloves. Garden gloves. And then what I like to do is pick a spot that you want to plant. Now, do you see how tall? And then look how wide. So the hole that you plant, you want to make sure that it's about the same size. Then I have my watering can. I'll just make sure that it gets a little bit wet so the roots of our plant will seep in good. Then you kind of mess with this so you don't end up having to pull it out too far. And then, as you can see, you have the roots. The roots, you want to make sure, I just kind of play with them a little bit and loosen them up, because if you just plant it in there too tight, I've actually noticed that the plants don't survive as well. And you place it in there. Then you grab your little hand rake. Hand rake the soil back over. Where am I? Right there. So that is my salad bowl. Next one, I will do the beans. I'll mess it up a little bit. Pull it out of there. A little bit of water. You grab your hand rake and place it in there like so. Yep. My next set of beans. A little bit of water. I will plant that. I will take my gloves off right now and show you our 3 plants that we just planted. So now your next steps is watering it every day. Make sure that they get enough water, not too much sun, not too much heat. So now that we've overviewed the process of purchasing a vegetable plant, now you have the resources on how to actually plant everything and how quite simple it can be. So now you have food to supply for your family. Also, now that you know about non-GMO and GMO, you have the choice to pick what you want. So go out and make a small area for your garden and buy some plants so you could try some wholesome food to eat. Thank you.